Hello, I'm live. What's up, guys? We are back. It is Power Hour. I got a lot going on here that I'm trying to manage, so we're going to be watching a few things here. First off, SPY potentially cracking to the downside. We want to see if this is holding. Interestingly enough, MU with a big candle to the upside. I'm backing this long. You can see the trade framed right here in from 835, hoping that this pop sticks, hoping that this fake drop washes out and then recovers very fast on SPY. So we're kind of seeing some discrepancies. Meanwhile, my cat's trying to drive me insane, climbing up my curtains. So that's what I'm up to, guys. SMH cracking just a little bit, but MU showing that resiliency. I don't know why, but I like it. Hopefully it sticks. Hopefully it sticks. All right, what are you guys trading? What's up in the chat? How we doing, guys? Lots of halts. Let's go, let's go. Cat's gonna be the death of me, I swear. SPY getting some momentum to the downside. All right, give me 1 second as I close a few runner positions. Want to make sure that I'm safe and can pay attention to the stream here. How's everybody doing in the chat? What's going on? What's going on? I see people starting to come on in. All right, cat's got to go outside. Today, kitty. Not today. We all have our limits. All right, there's what I want to see. Let's see if these buyers step in. I'm going to put an alert under here just so I don't miss it. And we're going to start talking about our little bit of around the horn here on the week. It's a lot that we have to talk about. As a trader, it's always hard managing positions into the turn of the hour as I go live here. So thanks for bearing with me. We are now rocking and rolling. So a few things on deck here for me here today. Micron been the star of the show. It was on the way down. I missed it this morning on the knife. So I made my revenge, took the little long here, just got a little piece of it, hoping to get another long and potentially get a runner for another major bottom with this higher low W pattern, just like we caught this one here. Thing is, SPY's not cooperating. Neither are the chips. So seeing some push and pull here. I'm not sure what's going on, but liking the relative strength in Micron. Just hoping that the selling can subside in SMH. And probably DRAM is, yeah, looking a little heavy as well. Otherwise, this might be a fake move up. Otherwise, maybe there's something that's decoupling Micron from the pack. So we're going to be watching this for sure into the close. SPY has been a very tough short today. And I just wonder if they're going to pay people out who have been waiting all day. Wonder if this is going to crack. It's a little bit scary, right? Looks a little bit daunting here. So if we do recover this pretty quickly, though, over these moving averages, over the point of control, then I think that it's a kind of bearskin rug day, as we call it. Like no shorts allowed. So that is what I'm looking at there. I'm also watching some other things. Is Micron going to roll on me now? All right. Attention. And there's my alert. All right, keeping a close eye on it. This has been an annoying day, but I want to try to hang in there in case there's a little reversal going on. So we're going to look at a few things together. First off, checking in with Bookmap. Yeah, a little bit heavy on top, and it seems like sellers are stepping in and holding for now. That does provide liquidity to the upside, which I would imagine is going to try to get swept. So what we want to see is basically a base being put in, buyers stepping in, and then those weights that pushed us down end up drawing us back up. We'll see if that's what we can get. Really hoping so. And a few other little plays for next week. ONDS and SLV. Looks like it's time to sell ONDS if it doesn't hold VWAP here. That alert's about to trigger. Been a little decent scalp, but don't want to get too greedy. SLV as well, so kind of sort of a semi-hedge. I think it's decent potential for this one to work well as a swing. Keeping my eye there. And digestion on SPY. Micron just giving me heartburn. Adrian saying oil ain't helping as well. Yeah, Friday after the huge run, it's probably a lot of hangover going on. I think I'm going to just, keep on lightening up here on the side until we get the confirmation of a hold. Trying to carve this out. I really do think it wants to, but it is not making it easy. Sweating me here. Whew. Oops, got some sound coming through. Let me stop that. So we're going to do a little bit of an around the horn in a second, talk about some other sectors. But really the star of the show, I do believe, is this divergence between the software as a service and the semis here, as well as just, man, SPY and Qs, huge divergence there as well. Give me one sec. The one thing that's actually worrying you is TLT. Spooky, spooky. Hey, Market Lounge, good to see you, man. Retail is heavy in Micron. Yeah, don't you have to tell me. What's up? That's got to be
JDZG, baby!
coming in.
All the way down, still in this short as we speak, because when you get such great entry, Steve, of 1230 area, you can just look down below and say bye, 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 like NSYNC used to sing, baby. JDZG, down the gutter she goes. I had to jump on, you know I did. You see it down this far. It's still halted down yet again. Best so far for me is 624 on the way down, and we're going for more, Steve.
Wow, this thing is wicked. What an absolute washout here. I know you were sniping, over in the 12s in these little 1 minutes here. Oh, there's my alert here. Do you want to actually show your trade real quick while I put out the fire here, and then we can get into the loving the 615 though. That's beautiful. And do you know what it's halted at right now?
Will you stop I got my Great Dane. She's like messing with me over here. Elle, I'm about to be done. She's like, Dad, will you just get out of the office already and stop talking stock today? I'm like, no, I don't want to. I just can't. I don't want to do it. It's not going to happen. Well, let's go to entire screen. There we go. Now, Steve, let's see if do I have the power, though? Can I actually add this to?
Oh, I have the power if you don't. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Attention. All right. I got to get out of my plays here. Hold on. And then we'll talk your stuff here. Micron is gonna be cooking me here. I do have the hard stop, so this one I'm not worried about. The one I am is ONDS here, because I think this one could fall a little bit faster. Also, silver starting to look like it's time to take profits there as well. Josh,
what's up?
Since ONDS is now a small cap because it's gotten beaten so bad, I think it's now in your prerogative. Do you think that this one is an interesting setup here? I'm seeing a lot of options flow, and I see a nice bottom wick today after getting really beat on just for quite a while. I'm wondering if this is forming a nice W here and it wants to reclaim the 8 next week. I'm just curious if you had any thoughts there. You like it?
Yeah, I do like it. Yeah, I like ONDS. Yeah, it's when you said that earlier, I chuckled a little bit underneath my breath. I said, "Oh no, he's not looking at ONDS. Oh no, he's not."
He sure is.
Yes, sure is, and I love it. So yeah, I like that play. Definitely for a long buy.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, it's a little play for me, but just hoping it would hold VWAP here.
Just a wee little play. Just a wee little play. Just a
wee baby one.
So I have JD. I don't know for whatever reason why. I say whatever reason why, but yeah, if you want to show my screen, I can. If I don't know if I can though. I don't know if I can show it.
Yeah, no worries. That's strange. I think it's just because we're in a new room here.
Yes, and I don't have one of those little dynamic whatever they're called over to the left. I need a dynamic scene for Josh. Of course, that's why I'm just popping in. This is more for Steve and Steve's hour. But Steve, let's see if we don't get it. 12 after and 42 seconds, looking like a 559 resumption price for JDZG, baby.
Dude, this ticker is like so evasive to my brain. My brain does not want to remember it. Every single time I have to double check. It just breaks my brain. I don't know what it is. It looks like it's breaking the backs of anybody who's trying to hold this long. And I wonder, is this just gone? Like if we pull back, look at a higher time frame. I mean, this thing is so, oh my goodness, it's gone. I didn't realize it was this gone.
Gone. Yeah, this is that's why I'm holding the remaining shares in a liquidation, because I don't see how this doesn't even go easily, which it looked like it's going to open up in the 5s. But yeah, I had a feeling this would come back. Kind of one of those launch pad plays. Joe talks about them a lot. They go from the launch pad right, and they come all the way back down. And sometimes they'll go through the launch pad. They'll blow the launch pad up and keep digging a bigger hole sometimes.
Oh, no. Speaking of launch pads, I got to check in on my good friend, little buddy stock, Rocket Lab here.
Ooh.
So let's see what we're doing. Let's see what we're up to today. Trying its best. A lot of stocks are doing this, right? They kind of V-shaped all the way back to a key level. They're coming down off the morning, and now we're starting to see how eager buyers are to kind of entertain the possibility of a real bottom looking like this higher low W base that would then break the neckline of this morning. So a whole lot of stocks are going to be buyable if they break the pre-market levels. And that's why I think that although today it would be a little presumptuous to assume that we can get there, really a good look for next week.
Steve? Gonna get some lunch. I just had to jump on the mic real quick. Still haven't eaten. I've been in my live stream. I have not left my office. I let the dogs out, and that's it. Yeah, that's why Elle right here is like, Dad, she keeps nudging me with her big old head. Like, Dad, I thought you said you were going to the couch about an hour ago, bro. I want to come hang out on the couch. I'm tired of the office. I want you in the living room. Steve's gonna kill it over the next 45 minutes. He's got you covered. Got this webinar as well. I may jump back on before the end of the day, before Steve gets into his webinar. But yeah, just had to come over. We knew it was coming. You knew Josh was gonna come over here and start yelling and sounding the horn if we got the barn burner back on down, and we got the barn burner back on down, bro.
We sure did. Good to see you, man. As
Yeah,
always,
I'll see you soon.
we'll be in touch. We'll be in touch shortly.
Oh, we'll
Yeah,
probably see each other very soon, I would imagine.
I can't imagine. It's never too long. But yeah, looking forward to the night stream as well. See you then.
Love you, brother.
You too, man. All right. All right. Always good to get an appearance from Josh, get a little injection of energy. I think he could tell that I was a little bit sleepy, a little bit daisy here. And so SPY, it's doing the thing that we were talking about, just messing with people, washing them out, ripping it back up. Where's it going to close? Nobody knows. It wants to just yeet on up. I think it's got room up to the 747 handle. That's what I'd like to see. This is a nice constructive base, and bulls would really love to see a strong close here. After what we've seen, a recovery today and a push higher seems like a great, great possibility for an actual bottom to be put in. That's what we'd really like to see, but I just would wish we could get a little more cooperation from our semiconductors, which continue to kind of just be wishy-washy and not really sure that the shorts are out of this yet. So, as all things, when you try to catch bottoms, you often get your own bottom caught, you know? So I did really well yesterday, and I'm trying to run my luck. I am playing with profits, but I'm a little bit on edge about this one. For some reason, it's kind of spooking me. And I'm just wondering if that means that it's one of the best trades. Because often when you're right at those inflection points, when the market is about to roll over and then it just cannot, well, then you can see a big turning point. And that's often really close to my pain point, like my pain threshold. So I guess I have a pain threshold despite trimming a lot over 900 because of this gnarly dip on my runners from the 720 where I was in overnight. Where even is it? Let's go full screen here. Sorry, super annotated chart here, but the important part is that we were getting long on the flip of the 737.20 down here, taking a lot off into 900, a little bit above, but mostly that 900 level. Thought it was going to break out further, did not get that move, missed the short today, and now we are all the way back down at this kind of neckline, this prior neckline. So a decent level, decent place to hold. If it does lose this, then we could easily flush to new lows. So I really would like to see it start cooperating, and it's just not. Look at that. Such a tough one here. We're going to see if it can hold out. We've got our stop in. We'll be stubborn. SPY, on the other hand, I should have been less stubborn and just play the winner, because look at that, straight out the top. Beautiful move there. What else we got in chat? Hey, Snav Empire. What are you guys trading? I feel like I'm out of the loop today, just watching my own stuff. SPY absolutely chatting here, though. That's beautiful. Qs, this is the mean reversion, or sorry, the catch-up play, and I'm always tempted to take these. Sometimes they just don't work, which we're kind of seeing right now with my Micron, but I wonder if the Qs popping can kind of start us going here. We'll check in with semis again. Still setting up a potential downtrend break. It's trying its best. Meanwhile, I'm trying my best to not need water. Turns out I'm human. I do need water. I will be back, guys. Look at this decent-sized candle, though. Micron sweating me once again. Ugh. I'm just going to stop looking at it, I think. It'll do what it's going to do. I'm going to get some water. Do you see what I see? I see trend line break. That's hopeful. Microsoft still strong. Hey, Smoke Tuna, how you doing? There we go. Now is the trend break, and you see the volume coming in the bottom left there. We love to see that. Micron taking its sweet time. We're going to let it be. We're going to move our alert under that last candle. Till then, let's watch something else. Let's check out some high flyers here from today. How's FCUV doing? I know Smoke Tuna was probably trading this one earlier. FCUV, big wild moves. Oh, did it fail the breakout? Ooh, it did. It sure did. Look at that. So now the question is it going to gear up for another attempt, or is this in the process of washing on out to this low volume node, to this VWAP, to this high volume node below? A lot of targets to reach for to the south side if it's done, but I'm not so sure. Still holding the high volume node of the topper kind of point of this profile. So when I think of a profile like this, I kind of consider it bifurcated. So there's this big hollow spot in here. And what that kind of leads to is it's line in the sand. Either it holds here or it can dump really quickly down to here. Because of that, you always got to watch and wait. And you got to kind of think the more volume is concentrated on the top part, the more likely I am to kind of trust this one to hold and push. If it's larger on the bottom side, especially if it's like wider, kind of like that, then you're more worried that it's going to come down there because there's a lot of volume down here to transact. So far, seeming pretty constructive here, though. I like the chart pattern here. And that combined with this volume, I think this one might be worth a shot. Still kind of flagging, but not high conviction. Let me look at some higher time frames as well. Q's trying their best. We love to see it. And I'm curious what silver's doing in this. So silver's an interesting one for me. Silver and gold. Just basically because, hey, everybody kind of forgot about these. When's the last time somebody was really excited to trade gold or silver recently, you know? It's gotten no motion. Just trading sideways, consolidating in this range on the 1 hour. Got a nice curl up on that 1 hour oscillator. Still kind of flashing a sell signal here on the 4. To be fair, full disclosure. But what I'm seeing is a potential inverted head and shoulders going on. It's a little bit weird, a little bit washy. It could take more time. But this is kind of what I'm seeing. There's a head. There it goes. So if we do get this to play out, it's a great entry for a longer term position. You could also get gold and consider it kind of a hedge. Gold looking a little more constructive off of this key level that me and Josh have been watching here. Right about 366. Yeah, 366. So keeping an eye on these for sure. I think there's decent potential for just, hey, it's probably a good time to pick some up. Even right now, looking pretty nice on gold here. Popping back to silver, stronger. Looking like it might want to kind of squeeze, doesn't it? I think it might want to squeeze. That'd be really nice. ONDS also holding up. So I think that my plays just need a little time, and I'm just a little bit antsy here at the end of the week. Oh, about damn time. All right, so now we're getting a little bit of positive action for MU, which means I need to move my stop up to under this one here, 835, because if it washes out with that, I want nothing to do with it. That also puts me in the profit, so I don't have to worry anymore about watching it at all. Please hold while I do that. Nice little feature on TradingView. You can hold, click your mouse. Oh, it can't be on an indicator. There we go. And then you can see the actual low of the candle. So the low here, 836.50. All right, locked and loaded. Great. And I'll set an alert if it's about to trigger so we can just take a look. All right. So we have ANET in the chat. Well, Sean in the chat talking ANET. Yeah, Arista, great company. That's a really interesting one. It's definitely a fun one for the longer term. I really like it on a high time frame. Just hanging in there, kind of carving on up, just consolidating, eating all of this this washout and the other chips in stride. So what these guys do is attention. All right. 1 second, please hold while I get cooked here again. It's just one of those days for me. I think it's fine. Oh, it's fine. Looking good, actually. All right, back to what we were talking about. Arista. So Arista, what they do, they are essentially a company that takes, you can think about, so like server racks, when you need to build more, you can build them up or out. You can either, essentially, there are those two ways to kind of expand on server space, but you can also connect like through the cloud to other servers. And so Arista, if I am understanding what they do correctly, it's basically they are the company that allows like neoclouds to connect to each other, which is very, very interesting. So I think that there's a lot of potential. They're basically AI infrastructure, and I think they're pretty irreplaceable in their kind of niche. I don't know any other companies that do that exact thing, at least. So definitely hoping that the breakout on the higher time frame happens. I think it will. I have a small position, not a big one here. Speaking of which, all right, can this thing just stop me out already? I'm getting annoyed. It's gosh darn alert. And our Qs, yeah, they're just hanging out. That's the thing. I don't think it even looks bad. I think it's just a frustrating trade. And look at SPY surging while we are getting washed out. I'm gonna get stopped out here. That's annoying. Just the wrong trade today. I should be waiting a day or two for these to settle, or just looking to short them because they're so weak. Crazy stuff there. So strong. You'd think everything risk on would be moving, right? So that just goes to show just how wide this bifurcation is. Let me show you guys the sector heat maps here, and you can see just what's at play. Almost everything green, including tech, but barely. Look at it. It's flat. Tech's dead flat. That's so interesting, isn't it? Watching these baskets kind of reshuffle themselves. Hey, Usman, thoughts on SNDK? Let's take a look. Well, you can see me getting cooked by my memory stock, so I'm annoyed. But I think we're waiting. This one looks a lot better than mine. And to me, they just look like they're deciding. There's positioning changes happening here. So when these are getting pushed down, when SPY is going up, that makes me feel like they're just still selling these to make tech go up, to make SPY go up. So like IGV, for example, probably does an inverse of what these other ones are looking like. SanDisk, long term, yeah, look at that, man. Chatting, absolutely very strong. So SanDisk, here's the thing. We're going into earnings next week. I don't know how they are going to be responded to. I know they're going to be good earnings. I don't know how the market wants to react to them quite yet. And I think it's going to be really hard to predict that until we get very close to the print and really see how the positioning is, how like the market is kind of primed right into that. If they're running it up into it, I'm much more inclined to take profits. But if it's kind of washing sideways, trading up and down in a range, and then right before the print, it kind of comes down but holds, that often can be a little bit of a hint that maybe the earnings are going to be good. Of course, at the end of the day, this is all kind of voodoo. It's going to be a gamble if you're holding through earnings. As of right now, I think that on the hourly chart, these are basically just cooling off and trying their best to form higher lows. They could still drop more and still be higher lows. That's the tough part here, guys. That's the tough part where you have to be tough. You have to be tough if you want to hold these here. If you don't have a really good entry, it can be scary because they can drop 10% on you pretty fast. And then it's still another 10% before you actually hit the real stop in my book. So, do with that what you will. I hate this thing so much. I don't even care if I make money on it anymore. I'm just annoyed. Every single time it looks like it's going to stop me out. And I just don't want to look at it anymore. Get out of here. Get out of here, Micron. Yeah, it was amazingly strong yesterday, and as you can expect, not everything is going to stay the same. When we got that washout overnight, it seems like it's got a hangover. They've all got hangovers today. SanDisk looking like it wants to push out of this range, though. Hopefully we can get that move because that's nice. Getting an alert on my ONDS. It's finally working. There you go, baby. All right, so this one I'm going to be taking one off pretty soon. One contract off pretty soon here. Thanks for bearing with me, folks. I'm booking 45% on a 0-day ONDS. If I can figure out how to on this new broker. You ever open up something with a new broker because because they give you a nice fat bonus, and then you're like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't know where any of these buttons are. There we go, found it. All right. And I'm going to actually just put a stop loss at break even. A little over break even, since it's such a small position anyway. And there we go. Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now I can finally chill. There we go. All right, SPY coming down just a little bit. Interesting to see if this can actually make chips pop or if they're going to dip. I would be so tickled if chips could run while this happened. Look at this. They're trying. Okay, they were trying to, and then SPY cracking a little bit. So very interesting push and pull here. Ooh, heavy candle, heavy candle. Let's watch closely. Nice exit on that other one there, though. Man, Micron just refuses to be an easy trade outside of like that one beautiful one. That's all it gave me. 36 is my stop. SPY trying to find middle ground here. And I wonder if there was any news or anything, or if that was just completely algorithmic. We're basically doing a deep cut back test here on the larger index. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder what the heck's going on. What the hecksy? What the helly? I think you're all that. Do I play poker? I do. I'm terrible at it though. I'm atrocious at poker, but it's so much fun. We should get a game night in here. Would you guys be down? We got any poker players in here? It's been a while. It's been a while since I hit the casino. I do some online every once in a while, but I don't ever play for money online just because I don't trust these sites. I don't know if that's me being paranoid, but I just can't believe that they don't have an edge. In person though, I love a good game or two. Definitely terrible though. So come on in, take my money. We'll have fun. Yeah, I was thinking actually we should start a game night for the community because, I bet there's a lot of people who like either card games or, I don't know, you guys play shooters, you guys play MOBAs or something? Me and my friends play some Counter-Strike, play some Dota 2, play some party games, a lot of like Mecha Chameleon or there's one called Party Animals. Yeah, if you guys are into games, we should definitely get something going on. But I'm sorry, it's not the weekend yet. We still got 30 minutes. So let's talk charts here. Topher Hanna in the house. What's up, dude? Any thoughts on Bitcoin chart? Does it look bearish enough for the 4-year cycle to conclude its in October bottom? Interesting question. Let's see. Yeah, I know it probably is just variance, but you know what? It feels very personal. You can see sometimes I get emotional after a long week. You see this Micron trade cooking me here. So part of it's hamming it up for camera, but honestly, it's really annoying being in this. So, that isn't just in the market. Let's say that. What's up, Elmer Glue? Let's talk. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Let's talk Bitcoin real quick. Elmer doesn't gamble much. Get too emotional. Yeah, absolutely, man. Always a day thing for me. Yeah, bet black one time and it hit red 5 times in a row. Yeah, what's the best way to summon like the most crazy run ever? Just tell me to bet the other way, and you'll get some wild action there. Bitcoin. We're gonna look at this on a higher time frame. Woo! Talk about a top tick there on ONDS. In and out. Nice. All right. Silver, hopefully this doesn't crack. I'm going to just put my alert there. I'm going to take this alert off so I never have to look at it again. Bitcoin USD. So it's been quietly doing very well, actually off the bottom. We've been watching this in a potential head and shoulders, or inverted head and shoulders, I should say. Hit the weekly. This is where it gets a little bit more constructive, a little bit interesting. Essentially, what are we seeing? We get the crazy cup and handle. It was one of the most beautiful setups in, when was it, 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago. I loved this one so much. I love a setup and loved the trade if I don't take my charts off, my lines off from it. Because it's like I want to hang it in the Louvre, Thing of beauty here. Getting in right on this break, adding right on that wick there. I'll zoom in for y'all. Right in that wick right there was the confirmation. and this one was the first entry here. The idea being watching these inside wicks here, reclaiming the weekly moving averages in this bear flag, or bull flag, I'm sorry. The bull flag in the context of a large cup and handle. So I love setups like this. They are my favorites for swings. And what I look for is basically a higher low in this flag, usually after 3 cracks down. So usually they try to push it down once, twice, 3 times, and then often that, pardon me, will be the capitulation kind of move. It will very frequently come back down to a previous level of interest. Didn't quite come back down to the prior consolidation. But even then, flagging, nice bottom here, and then this higher low got me interested. After that, I wanted to see the change in structure. I know this isn't what you asked, but I want to talk about it anyway. We'll get to we'll get to yours in a second, I promise. So then it broke this high, and then I knew it was game on, or at least I had a strong suspicion it was game on. Then when we started making the higher low here and closed here, that was my signal. Felt very good about that. You get the measured move, but this is all a preface to talk about where we're at now, because we essentially traded all the way back in a mean head and shoulders, gnarly stuff here, and then it's just washed out right to the breakout level. If we drag this area of interest that we drew recently, a month ago, come on, there it goes. Look at that. It's right in that candle that I was just talking about being my entry. So it's just round tripped it. Just round tripped it, and now we're actually showing a lot of relative strength into this sharply rising 200-week moving average. So not too shabby there, honestly. I think it's stronger than most of the market, which is interesting. It's kind of got that software as a service feel to it. That being said, I haven't watched it in the past couple of days, so this hasn't been a great move. Interesting seeing it get no love here. It was all about the chips. So if today isn't about the chips, you would expect this to recover a little bit more. That's a little bit suspicious, I will say, but maybe it's just doing another. All right, it's hard to say. What I will say is we can expect some BS around the 600 level. It's the top of this volume shelf. It's pretty high here. So you can see at the top of this yellow band as well. We'd like to see flushes out here reclaim pretty swiftly. Back to 62,800 or so. The real thing to say, though, is this thing has to find big closes over 6,400. Over 6,400, it starts to look like this is basically finding acceptance at the top of this little range that we're in. And if so, then it looks like a kind of complex, but still an inverted head and shoulders. The measured move would be to come on back up to probably at least 70K. So that's kind of where I'm at there. Topher saying all good because we are due for the 3rd dip in October. Had one February, June 4th next. So I'm not super in the loop with all of the cyclicality of Bitcoin. I know it's got the 4-year cycle. I know that I'm not like having my heart set on this thing working out quite yet. This is the path that I'd like to see it take. That's what I wanted. A big move up to this neckline, then coming down to form this head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. It doesn't seem like we're getting that. So I'll have to reassess here. I don't have a strong read, but I'd say watch this weekly 200. And if it loses this, then we can see more progression. More progression down. Maybe they need to clean up. I'm looking for places that they could take it logically. Sweep the wick at 50K. Seems decent. Come down to this consolidation at 42 is another possibility. This neckline at 45-ish. It does seem like relatively strong though, so I don't want to bet against it. But I know there's like a lot of like factors in this trade that I need to be very aware of, like up to date on, to really have a strong, like worthwhile opinion. So like Adrian's saying, the Clarity Act ain't coming, and I don't even know the details on where that's any changes that have happened in the past couple months there. So he's saying don't touch. I would revert to his opinion there on this one, because honestly, not 100% here. Steve saying Bitcoin looks very much like a choppy fractal head and shoulders on the weekly. Yeah, let's see. I don't know how to feel about it. And usually that's just a sign that it's not time yet, So check in with me next week. We'll see how I feel then. Oh, Micron finally going to wash me out. What a annoying day. That's fine. Did it take my stop yet? Barely not taking my stop. I don't even want it anymore. I don't even want it. SPY, nice recovery here. So that's why my chips are dumping. Okay. That's cool. That makes sense. We got 20 minutes left and then we'll start the webinar, by the way, guys. We're going to be talking about the third part of the earnings report series. We're going to be talking about what to do long term, how to play these after you get the earnings print here. Oh, that's going to be, yeah, it's going to be good to talk about. Nice and fun. Okay, what's calling my attention now? Not silver. Nothing's working anymore. I'm going to close some positions here. Give me a second, then we're going to lock in. Yeah, cracking a little bit there too. Huh, interesting divergence into the close here. All right, give me one sec, guys. Yeah, high beta basket's bleeding. Yeah, absolutely. It's just been a weird kind of day, gotta say. It makes sense. Just mean reversion of the big move yesterday. It just feels kind of shell shocky, you know? Feels kind of shell shocky. There's my stop. All right. They got me. So annoying. Of course, now I don't trust this broker. Yeah, it says I'm still in. That's alarming. Okay, I got to figure this out. Sorry, guys. Give me one sec. Good feeling. Very good feeling. All right. I'm getting cooked now, and I should be stopped out. That's unfortunate. let me deal with this. What to do when the stop ain't stopping? That's a curveball. So maybe I won't recommend this broker. Good bonus deal though. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. Some other interesting plays that I took today. I started a small position in Reddit. It is dead flat. I like it at 40. I think that it's good for a little bit of mean reversion there. Dutch Bros. Dutch Bros is fun. I think that one's starting to look kind of decent too. Took a very tentative starter. 32.67. Yeah, what is the deal? Why is my stop not? It just didn't work. Not great.
Attention. Attention.
Not feeling the attention alerts. They do get my attention though, but man, are they obnoxious. All right. There we go. Get me out. Figured it out. Okay, we're free. We're free. We're free. We're free. So now it can V-shape. That's how it works. What an uncomfortable situation. So yeah, what happened there, guys, is I thought I had a stop. Very reasonable, so I would stop out, break even. All of a sudden I looked down, I'm like, something's afoot. I didn't hear the sound that I was expecting to hear. And that made me anxious. So very well could have sold the literal low there. I'm not going to look. I'm not going to worry about it. Because you know what? We got better things to do. We got webinars to talk about. We got earnings to talk about. Adrian saying, one thing that is concerning, USD over yen looks pretty bad. AKA Japan people will sell bonds most likely. So that's why TLT is over 4.7, which ain't good at all. Yeah, the TLT level is absolutely brutal.
Attention.
What is this now? Oh no. Get out of here. I don't want to look. You can't make me. All right, bear with me one sec here. What in tarnation? How did I get muted? Thank you so much, guys. I'm real sorry. I don't know how long that was there for. Huh. Very strange. Who's out to get me here? Thank you, Nigel. You're the man. Dude, that scared the heck out of me. I thought something was on fire. I mean, I'm glad you let me know. That would have been obnoxious. How long's it been? Oh no, you've just been watching me do this the whole time? What? All right, look at Q's ripping here now. Absolutely ripping silver. Another strong move there. And what is shaking? Trying to find what's moving the market on my other screen here. Give me one sec. Sorry, lots of moving parts here. XLI strong, XLC strong, XLY ripping, oh, of course, because of Amazon. So I think it's mega caps doing most of the work here. We look at mags. Oh, chatting. Yeah, absolutely mega caps. That makes sense. So money's coming out of anything that isn't mega caps, it looks like, that is on the risk on side. Interesting barbell action there. Man, Qs are pretty though. Qs have room. Just a matter of whether hey, semis, they're starting to try again. Oh, I'm so glad I have the core position of Micron because that was such an annoying stop out. I'm sure it's higher now. I'm sure I sold literally the bottom. What can you do? I'd always prefer to take a small loss than not know what's going on. So whenever it doesn't happen very often, but whenever there's like something weird like that, like stop didn't trigger. All right, time to shut it down. Fastly broke out of the bear flag to the upside. Oh, about time. I have some shares of that. Very small. Oh, beautiful. This one looks good for a continuation, doesn't it? Yeah, 2268. Nice move there. Love that. You know, in fact, I think I'll buy a little. I'll buy a tiny bit at the end of the day here. I want to see if this is going to continue. Yeah, 10 more minutes. Maybe I'll wait till Monday. Probably smarter. But I like Fastly a lot. This is one of the ones that that's been a little bit tricky. As you said, broke out to the upside from a bear flag, and I don't blame you for thinking that. It was a weird curly thing here, and then it finally dug in and started pushing with Microsoft, with the Microsoft earnings. So now it's got a big gap above, and I love this one for a shares trade. Very, very nice here. I'm a fan. Good stuff. Let's see what else we got cooking. 12 more minutes to the market, guys, or till the market closes, guys. Be ready. I'm fastly starting to break out now. Fine, I'll grab a piece now. I do like the chart a lot. Very bullish on it. And it's an interesting company. So they're similar to Net, Cloudflare. They're like Cloudflare, but instead of like the wider market of just about everybody, got partial filled there on that little wick back at 2270. All right. Yeah, so basically they're going to be doing a lot of the same kind of stuff that Net Cloudflare is. I don't want to keep calling them there. Yeah, just making sure I got the right ticker. Yeah, they're really strong on a daily chart. Let me show you this. This thing's just waiting to go crazy and break out. I do believe almost there. So flagging over the prior highs. I own this one. And Fastly's my other software as a service position that isn't Microsoft, which was way too big. So I sold a bunch of Microsoft. I guess I can buy some Fastly. I do like Net. If it just gives me the 9, I'd add. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Big push on Qs into close. Love to see it. And look at GSAT. Check out GSAT. Oh, what a beautiful one. This is amazing, guys. Beautiful flag break on volume here, guys. This looks like a long 2 for the intraday at the very least. Hourly continuation, incredibly strong. And this is one of the strongest space names. So I wonder if it's time. Wow. Wait, is GSAT space? Maybe I'm getting it confused. Global Star? I think they are. I think that's satellite. Anyways, yeah, space infrastructure, I think. Crazy move there. Congratulations, longs. How are the other space stocks doing? Can't even see it with all my doodles. fine. Nothing to write home about. SpaceX causing this? Sure isn't. Very strange. Yeah, Zeta. Zeta's also great. I'm sure that's having a day and a half. Oh, beautiful there. Nice. Still coiled. Still tight. Yeah, when this goes, it's going to go. Absolutely with you there. Wow. That 1 minute candle on mags here. Just absolutely cooking. Whew. Check it out. Still just washing back and forth here on Micron on the daily and on the 5 minute here. What an annoying ticker. All right, guys. 9 minutes left. This day feels really long. Is it just me? Feeling very long. All right, give me one moment. Yeah, very strange day. Very strange price action. Let's check in the SanDisk too. I'm curious. Oh, did break down there. That's not a great look. And these definitely having a hard time. Just not ready yet, I suppose. Really looked like they wanted to try there into the close and just could not pull it out of the corner there, out of the pocket. Still holding this low, but this looks like a bear flag in my opinion. You're surprised it's Friday again already? Man, this has been a brutal week for me, guys. Oh my goodness. Oh, working full time plus the community, which is great. I love all y'all in the Discord, but man, there's a lot of back end stuff that I've been trying to work on, as well as the app giving me trouble, but it'll be out in the next week or two hopefully. So the Gamma Tides, we're going to be having a lot of fun with that. But right now I'm just so burnt out, not gonna lie. So looking forward to the weekend, then we'll hit it super strong. Also looking forward to the webinar though. That always gives me some juice. Hey Black Mamba, good to see you. Check out Amazon. What a beast in the close. Absolutely. It's such a crusher stock. Let's see. Un momento. Getting blown up here. My phone. All right. Yeah, wow. Nice strong candle on top of a really strong day. Let's look at the hourly here for reference. This thing has no chill. Absolutely zero give back. Just cooking even more today. So holy moly. That's a 16% move for you there on a mega cap. Meanwhile, Microsoft, strong push as well. Looking for more. Wow, 460 already. Amazing. Really an amazing move there, guys. I'm happy. I sold a good amount, but I'm still happy. It was a stressful hold for a mega cap, I will say. It looks like everything's strong into the close except for chips. That's okay. They're resting. They can go next week. Maybe they're waiting for SanDisk. Totally fine. All right, just dotting my I's, crossing my T's here. I like the Fastly a lot. The more I look at Fastly, the more I really like it. Just a strong daily chart. Really, really strong daily chart. Weekly chart, beautiful too. I think I'm going to be building into this one as one of my larger positions as it starts to work here. Little extended for me right now, so I only bought a tiny bit. Mostly for FOMO, to be honest. But see this large cup and handle, I think this has a lot of potential. At the very least to fill the gap. It feels like it really should, right? Like what a nice, well-defined base. Clean breakthrough today. I'm like honestly kind of fine just buying it on the close, even though it's at the high of the day and it's extended. It's like kind of so what? Kind of whatever.
Attention.
ONDS not terrible there either. Something just happened.
Attention.
Sorry, I gotta figure out what all these dings are dinging about. Wow, what a move on mags there. Crazy stuff. I think it was okay, all right. So this is so weird. I didn't have any shares left, and now I heard the trigger of the sound. So it was like a ghost order. I'm not even going to say what platform this is. I don't like them. I'm done. Done. I'm just going to keep the money in there for 60 days till I get the bonus, and then I'm out. All right. I think we're almost ready to move on into the webinar, guys. Yeah, 5 minutes to the bell. What a washout on chips. I do think that they're scaring people into the close. I almost want to buy this. I might buy one share to add to the core position from 725. But then I look at the hourly and I don't feel very compelled to. So I'm not. This one's just got me really trying to catch the bottom, and I recognize that it's going to make me probably do silly things. So just not going to. Just going to wait. Meanwhile, ONDS, I do like this for the swing. I'll keep a hold on to this one. Keep a hold on to my silver. I like the silver. Closing strong. Nice hammer here. Good potential to reclaim up and retest this 53 and potentially push higher. See, what else have I been talking about, looking at? Gold still trying. I like it, at least for the strong over the night, over the weekend move. Probably get a nice move there. Oh yeah, bros. I wanted to show you guys this one. I want to show bros to my bros. I think this is a beautiful chart. Look at that. Absolutely perfect cup and handle break and then a flag on top. Only thing is earnings are coming up. But Starbucks crushed. So I think this one's very nice. I'm a fan. I'm going to be adding more next week. All right. Oh, did we talk Reddit? I don't think we did. Yeah, smoke tuna. Absolutely. We'll definitely do another call. Looking forward to it. Failed to break out. That's unfortunate. I still believe in Reddit. Yeah, we'll have to do another call soon. Absolutely. That was a lot of fun. Well, Snowman, you could leave now, but I'm going to be doing a webinar right after this. Don't you worry about that. And Intel, let's take a look at that one before the bell. And then I'm going to need just a few minutes to transition here into the webinar. But yeah, still flushing. Chips still very heavy. You can't touch them yet, unfortunately. So the 87, I think, is probably what we're looking for. Yeah, Q's just bonked their head because the chips are still heavy selling. Yeah. Yeah, ugly. Unfortunate. Yeah, going to close almost at the lows. Not a good look here. Yeah, Bros is very pretty, right? Sitting on that 10-week. I like it a lot. A few more higher time frame ones that I like. Baba, Baidu, I think they're both big winners. Not BA. BA. Clear, clean, high or low breakout here on Baba. Love this one. I think it gave a buy signal today. I'm already in it. From a little bit higher, actually, from a long time ago, from 125. It's a long-term hold. Baidu, I added this one today in small size at 110 or so. It's pushing up nicely. Really liking these ones here. Hey, Sean in the chat, I have a chart for you. ATAI, okay. ATAI. Take a look there. Crazy. An acquisition, I would assume. We'll have to talk about it. Beautiful cup and handle. I don't know why it's got to be like some kind of acquisition or something. So I need to know about it. I'll check back in with you. Check back in with me this weekend or Monday on this one. I'm very curious about it, but I don't know what to make of it here. Let me get on into the webinar now, guys. So I'm going to hop out. You don't move a muscle. And I'm just literally going to switch it to a little loading screen for 2-3 minutes or so. 3-4 at most. Just be right back, set it up, and then we'll be good to go. All right, guys. See you in a sec. All right, folks, we are back. Thank you so much for your patience. Oh, why does everything always happen? Like, why does everything happen in like the one window where you can't attend to it? So sorry, I had to deal with some stuff in the house, and now we're good. Now we're back. Thank you for your patience, folks. So we've got earnings plus earnings part 3. That's what we're going with. Forgot what I even named the damn thing. We're going to be talking about a little bit of a different take on earnings compared to what we talked about last time. And this is going to kind of complete the trifecta, complete the move overall, or, the set overall, and give you a holistic system on how to treat these earnings, how to trade them. Let me tell you what I mean. So we talked last week in part 2, we talked about how to trade the print itself. And this is just kind of like taking that same idea and stretching it out a little bit more. Let me get to my notes and I'll get on into it. All right, guys. Yeah, so part 2, it was basically on how to trade the reaction, basically saying don't try to predict too much. Just react to the levels that we have put in our charts beforehand. Basically, not force it. That's kind of what we were looking for in part 2, and we kind of codified that. We gave you a checklist and broke down how I approach it at the very least. So now, what's different today is that instead of that kind of tight and short-term purpose, we're going to be talking about trade with a much longer runway, and that's essentially going to be how to trade 2 sections here, up into the report, but also after as well. So they're very different, and we're going to have a section on each, but I think they're both worth trading, and I just kind of want to talk about them because I don't hear people talking about these, and I find them to be some of the most consistent profits you can book. Just very, very common patterns that you see. So it's also going to be interesting, and I kind of want to give you a little bit of not a warning, but if anybody was listening last week, I'm going to warn you up front. The first idea that we talk about, it's actually going to seem at first like it's counter-indicative to what I was telling you last time, like it contradicts it. Stick with it. You'll understand by the end of the section, because resolving that contradiction is kind of the key to unlocking this whole approach that I'm looking for. So that's how we're going to frame this. First off, let's talk about the runway. It's basically the map for the whole session here. So every earnings event is going to have 3 windows. First, there's the approach, and this is like the days leading up to the report. So this is where the stock's going to drift, and everybody's positioning for the print itself. Then you have the actual print, of course. This is going to be the binary moment itself, which is exactly how we traded, the part 2. That's what we kind of went into and focus now. So we're going to be talking about this before part, but also the next part, and that's the aftermath. So that's the days and even weeks after, where you can basically get a really documented, reliable edge. And it's something that we just didn't even have time to talk about last week, so I thought it deserved its own section here. So part 2 owned the middle window, and today we're going to, just focus on the other 2. Both windows are really full of opportunity. Both of them really, I don't hear retail traders talking about a lot, and they think that earnings is the only time you should be looking at these names. And I think that's simply not the case. Simply not the case there. Getting on into the next section. Let's see. I just got another alert. Micron's still dropping after hours. Oof. That's why we stop out, guys. I love how it's still tormenting me. Yeah, even after it stopped me out, even after the bell closed. Oh boy. I'm going to be dreaming about Micron. Funny thing is, I had a great week off of Micron, but it just made me a little crazy today. So I'm gonna take a nice long weekend, think about my actions. Anyways, on to the next section here, guys. So 2 areas of interest. Last week I gave you kind of, I don't know, I said it maybe 5 times. I was like repeating over and over. I felt like never bet into the number, like never just make a blind bet, right? Never pre-position essentially. So when I tell you today that we're going to be talking about trading into earnings, like I want to kind of, make it clear where I stand here and kind of kill the contradiction before it even starts. So they're completely different things, and people kind of often associate them, but let me describe the difference here. So there's betting the number. That's like buying calls, holding them through the report, praying it beats. That's coin flip plus IV crush. That's a bad time. That's no fun. That's the trap that we were kind of talking about in part 2. That's still banned. That's still no touching, off limits. Nothing today is going to change that. But what I do think is like a very separate kind of idea is trading the run up itself. And that's because it's actually like a completely different animal. It's its own thing. And that's because stocks are going to drift and they're going to position in the days before the report. And that drift is like, it's actually a real trend. It's got, it can respond to your normal levels. You're not going to get a big shock of information that really is what I don't like betting on. I don't want to have to bet that the market's going to respect whatever the numbers are, or even on the numbers themselves. So this is a much more reliable edge, and this is the only real way I trade earnings in my own like actual money accounts. For the earnings reports, I do have fun and I trade some of them live. Even then, I like to wait and react. And the one time I didn't this season was Intel, and that smoked me. So goes to show. But I do think that for my own money, this is where I think it's a lot safer, and you can basically just catch these reliable trends. This is one of the few times I'll actually recommend options at times because you'll get that IV expansion into the print as well. So let's talk about it. There's a few rules that I think really separate these two mindsets, and the first is that you are flat before the bell with this kind of pre-strategy. You take the run up, you step off the ride before the coin ever flips, because how many times I've made a great profit trading the run up and then said, oh, I'll bet what I made on the earnings, and then there it goes. Of course, it's a very, very common thing, and it's no fun, let me tell you. So just learn from my pain of over the years making silly options bets, and just do it the smart way. You can systematize this. So burn it in, right? You're never in the room when the numbers come out. Just you don't want to be there. You can hold into the print, but then you're gambling, and that's not what we do here. What you can also do, though, if you still really believe in the play, is you can transition right from this playbook into the one that we talked about last week. So there's a good synergy between them here, and you don't have to give up on the play. You just have to step off the ride for a second and reevaluate, reassess. You can still get the majority of the move if it does what you expect, while you can minimize your risk massively by being in shares with your trade the pool account. And basically, essentially, you're avoiding all of these pitfalls: the IV crush, the ability to act, or the lack of ability to sell after the bell, with options. You're avoiding just the potential to just blow up on a large shares position too with trade the pool, risk your, save your risk, cap your risk that way. So just some things to think about here as we kind of define the difference between these two. So here's the mechanic of the approach. As the report's going to get closer, two things are going to build at the same time. You've got the anticipation buying, which is going to be lifting the price, and then you have implied volatility, which is how the options market ramps up and kind of models this anticipation of, basically going into a big binary print. So notice something here. This is basically the mirror image of part 2. If anybody was paying attention last week, they might notice that. So last week, we were talking about IV rising and then crashing, and that was the tax that killed you, right? On this approach, before the print, rising IV is actually the tailwind if you're, in long premium that we talked about, because you're actually selling into the ramp instead of holding through that crush. So it's the same force, but you're on the totally other side of it, right? So how you actually trade it here is it's exactly like any other swing setup. It's nothing too exotic or anything. It's just you're going to find a stock in a clean uptrend, heading toward the report and holding its moving averages, making higher lows, all the things we generally look for. You trade the trend to the next level, and then the earnings date, it's just not a factor, right? You're just using this as one more element in a good setup. So this can just be another thing you add to your checklist for like an A+ setup, right? An A+ setup often will have that kind of magnetic pull to a defined time, because that makes things a lot easier to trade. So for example, it's not an earnings play, but another A+ setup that I'm waiting to play out is when the next or the first big unlock of SpaceX shares hits. Because in that run up there, I would love to see any kind of upwards action into that. And then I'd love to just, kind of hammer it with that kind of deadline as well, to kind of know that there's going to be a big pull after that point for price to kind of leave. So it's kind of, I guess that's the other side of the trade. We know where price is going after it. In this, we're kind of using the big pull, the big magnet, to see where price is going into the print. Anyways, going on into the next section, let's see, where was I? So, this does take discipline. And, I'll be the first to say that it's going to be tempting if the play works, not to just assume that the earnings are going to be good, because you'll get a little bit attached to a chart that you're swinging for a couple weeks or something into this, or a week or two. And, I just want to make it clear, like, if you still feel like that, go back and look at part 2. We have a whole playbook about how to, play your bias and just, make sure that you're not just blindly doing it, right? So wait for, certain levels to reclaim or hold, wait for, certain levels to break with volume, something like that, and buy the back tests. Anything like that can make it a lot safer. I think it was yesterday, on the earnings stream, we had really good proofs of concept for this, where there were a few plays that broke out really nicely. And then we were saying, man, I think this is going much higher. It's still within its expected move. It's only like halfway there. And even though it had a very strong candle, momentum's cooling just a tiny bit. So you can wait for the 9-minute moving average to catch up. And then very often that is going to be the spot where those kind of institutional buyers or sellers, in the case of Apple yesterday, are going to step in. So we saw it to the downside with Apple yesterday, but we also saw it to the upside with Amazon. So go check your charts with that for a good example. And that's going to be that 9 moving average. And basically the idea is, hey, we're going to mark out how to play the break of the range, or what level needs to break, and then we're going to look for consolidation after that, and then buy with support that's rising with us. Or if it comes back into support and meets that rising support, even better. So like I said, it's the one thing you don't want to do here is fall in love with the stock in the run up. Can't hold through it. It's just or blindly at least. Because that's when you turn the edge into just the coin flip. So that does raise the fair question, like what if you actually do want that exposure? So I think that it's worth just revisiting. I probably should have done this in the other order. Sorry, I'm rambling here. Essentially, we got all the parts. Just figure out where you kind of fit into this earnings playbook. Because some people, they only want to actually trade the actual print, and some people, they want nothing to do with it. But there's something for everybody. All right, let me get back on track, find my place. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bleary-eyed today, but we're going to power through. We're going to kick it into gear, and I'm looking forward to the second half of this, especially here. Got some good stuff to dig into. So we talked about riding the drift in. So let's talk about the aftermath, too. This is more fun for me because I really like post-earnings gap setups. That's going to be the main kind of star of the show here. And we'll get into the details, but essentially this allows you to kind of say, hey, I don't need to gamble on the earnings. I'm going to wait for the move, and I don't even care that it goes up without me because I wouldn't want it if it didn't go up. The fact that it went up is the sign of strength that we're looking for continuation. Then we basically look for consolidation, and we can rip it up outside the top side, and you can get these kind of great continuation trades. And these are going to be some of the strongest ones in the market. And you can also kind of use this interchangeably with other areas of catalyst-based trading as well. So for example, if there's, for example, back when Trump was talking about rare earth magnets and stuff, you had some really big candles on some of these charts, and then they looked for continuation. And that was kind of the start of the move. I think a better example, probably Intel. Yeah, Intel, I believe. Oh no, it was earnings that kicked that one off too. I'll think of an example, but sometimes you'll get a news-based catalyst, right? Maybe a phase 3 trial, phase 2 trial for a biotech company or something, and it'll just cause the stock to absolutely explode. So you can use this for the same playbook for something like that too. The whole idea is there's been a big change in the fundamentals of a stock. So, getting into more details. Man, it's crazy how much I'm losing my place. I need to get some rest after this. The distinction from part 2 here is really the whole point of the. I can't talk and I can't read. All right, we're skipping this part. We're going to the next part. I think I talked about it enough anyway. That's the idea. The post earnings gap setup. I'm better off the dome than trying to read my notes here. So getting into the next part, there's 3 basic reasons why this drift is so real and why every one of them is about that kind of slow money reacting to fast news. The big thing is that institutions can't teleport. They can't just instantly enter into a trade. So this is something that really works into our benefit, and this can allow us to position with those big institutions. And this allows us to take the trade slow, It's also good for your mental side of it because you're not going to rush. You're not going to worry about small red candles because you know that those red candles, as long as the overall plan is playing out, is actually a great opportunity to load with the big boys who are using the pullbacks into a uptrend or a start of an uptrend here to start to get the ball rolling and continue it down the hill, so to speak. So that institutional bid is the whole drift here, and you're not front running if you're doing it like this. You're just riding alongside them, and that's how I usually like to trade, regardless of the system. So the second thing here is the analyst lag. After a genuine beat, the upgrades and the raised price targets, they don't all land on day one, right? So they're going to kind of trickle out over the following days, following weeks, and every single one of them is going to be a little fresh headline that's going to pull in new buyers, get the algorithms excited again, and keep the catalyst kind of refiring on a delay, if that makes sense. That's how you kind of get that kind of drift up, and then you'll kind of fade a little bit and consolidate into moving averages, and then hey, there will be another catalyst that just comes and gets more eyes on it, and all of a sudden there's another imbalance in where there was in consolidation there's a balance between buyers and sellers. Then all of a sudden new buyers, imbalance. There you go. The third part here, and this is going to be the behavioral piece. The crowd often underreacts to the real surprises. People are going to be anchored to the old story, and they already kind of have their belief set in the company. The psychology behind this is interesting. It's basically called a Bayesian prior bias curve. And what that means is that what we believe because we have experienced a lot of things that have all led to this belief. Say, I don't know, we won't get into an example yet, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The idea is that it takes a lot to kind of deconstruct these beliefs. So when we have a stock that we like, we do research on it. We build up this kind of dossier, this kind of file in our head on all of the reasons why we think it's a good investment, why we think it should do what our thesis says. When all of a sudden a big news event happens and that changes the fundamental narrative we base the trade on, it's going to take a little bit of time to kind of whittle away at all of these reasons we have stored up in our head. And, we're going to have to kind of hold this new information up through multiple lenses, up next to multiple other pieces of information, and kind of say, okay, well, I got to throw this piece out. I got to throw this piece out. So it's a gradual process. It doesn't happen all at once. And, you could say this is denial. You could say it's a lot of things, but it's just kind of the mechanism of the brain changing its mind on something. So I think that part's really interesting here. And how that's relevant to us is that, that's going to be the drift that we're kind of talking about, because that's a slow grind, just like that mental model of how, you shift from one belief to another. And, then sometimes there'll be kind of big shocks, and you could call those capitulation moments too, when the group psychology on a chart just all at the same time goes, oh shit, I can't ignore that. There's some things you can't ignore, right? Smashed, smash. Yes, thank you guys. Sorry, checking back in on the comments. Good to see you guys in there. I figured out how to get myself a little second wind. I just got to talk about psychology. So little shameless plug. Next Friday, be sure to come on in to the morning sessions there, the Money Mindset with me, Alejandra, and Caesar added to the list. You saw him this morning playing the role of my therapist, my Micron therapist, and he did a great job getting my head straight. And you know what? Micron's down 10% today. I don't even care. I got out where I needed to because I had a hard level in mind, and I had the plan ahead in my head to kind of execute. Sure, did I still chop myself out a tiny bit at the end of the day, trying to trade it back? Yeah, whatever. That's what we call 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But anyways, I think that there's a lot to be said about psychology, both because I'm very fascinated by it, also because I'm a little bit of a head case myself. So, you get both sides of it. I'm always going to be very transparent about it as well. So we'll have a lot of examples. Alejandra as well, she's super great about, admitting when she's having a harder time with something, either psychologically or, a setup or whatever it is. So I think there's going to be a lot of really relatable content because, we spend all week bragging, me and Josh, our bravado, we come out with these small cap trades. And when you get a 20% move in 20 minutes, you want to take a victory lap, and it kind of gives people the impression that this is how it always is, but it's just like social media, right? It's never really what we're putting out there for the world. It's never really the full story. So, there's times that I have doubt. There's times that I stress about trades. There's times where it's not super clean cut. There's times when I make mistakes. And I think that this is very natural. I consider myself still new to this. I've been doing it 7-8 years, but you know what? Only really really studying for about 3, 4. So I think that there's still a lot of room for me to grow, and I want to take you guys on the journey with me. So every week we're going to be really diving into the psychology, diving into these mental traps that we get into. Because man, they trap you and they get you good. And you know, it's I always go back to this Mark Twain quote. It's not the things that know that get the things you know that get you. It's the things you know that just ain't so.
Attention.
And also I butchered the quote too. It's the things you don't know. Oh my goodness. Well, I almost had it back there. I almost got on a roll. But I stumbled there a little bit. Guys, let's see. Scott in the chat. Thoughts on Monday, long or short bias? It's so early, Scott. It's we have so much game to be played in the futures market, even after hours here. I think the biggest thing is today it was very clear where the money is still kind of shifting back and forth to. We're still having this kind of basket shift back and forth from IGV, from the software as a service, and from the mega caps, kind of both of those moving in tandem, you know, because primarily they're both everybody's under Microsoft's thumb. You know, that's really what it comes down to. Microsoft having trouble, so is everybody else in the sector. Microsoft have a 16% up day. You better believe that's going to transfer over to everything else, including Fastly. That's one that I like a lot. I just picked up some more shares of Fastly today, FSLY. So, Monday, up or down? Great question. I promise I'm not dodging it. Let me think. What I want to watch is the relative strength of the new paradigm, the new cohort of buyers that stepped in and really shook the boat and really potentially caught us. So we have two kind of things. First off, I definitely do think that the bottom is in for the indices overall. I think this because the stocks that were getting pulverized for the first half of the year, software as a service, they're starting to work. Stocks that are getting pulverized for the last month, the AI stuff, they're starting to try to work. Today, they did not work. Today, they gave back a lot, but they did put in a very, very strong attempt of the bottom. So this is what I'm going to be watching. I think if the new trend continues, which is this money going into chips, and at the same time we can keep money in the IGV trade, well, I think it's very possible that we get a nice move up. What will need to happen for that is probably we really need to see energy cooling. So that's something to watch, especially in the futures overnight. So those are kind of the big things, right? We want to see chips do well, and we want to see energy do poorly. We'd also like to see money coming out of other areas of the market that are considered more risk off. So utilities, XLP, consumer staples, what else? Healthcare. Those are the ones that you want to look for. So I really recommend watching that sector rotation map, both even pre-markets or, just in the first hour of the day, really the whole time. But that's going to give you a good hint, especially in the first half hour and pre-market there. That's what I got for you there. So not exactly up or down. I'm going to give you some homework, but that's really the only answer. In general, I do think the markets as a whole up. I think the bottom's in. We could put in a higher low, and we did in chips. The whole market could as well. Maybe in this bizarre world, that means chips go up. Truly wild seeing big green candles on QQQ and big red candles on my prior leaders in the tech space, in the memory. Fascinating stuff there. All right, let me catch up on the chats. DJ2AM, as always, appreciate you, brother. It was good talking to you earlier. I had a quote. I had a good quote. I mean, I guess I say enough things. Eventually something's going to sound pretty good. Kind of monkey in a typewriter, writing Shakespeare situation. Apparently I said once, hope is not a strategy. You naturally are a hopeful person. Me too, man. And so it's hard. We always want to look long. We always want to think that that candle's going to hold, that bottom's going to hold. You know what? 50% of the time it works every time. But but what really kind of brings it to the next level is, not throwing the hope out the window. You can trust, but just also verify, right? I think that's a good one too. Awesome. Hey, Scott Mode, you're coming in from Trader TV. Awesome. That means so much to me. That's when I'm all sharp and gussied up and, ready for a focus 15 minutes. I'm going to be honest. I'm dragging here a little bit at the end of the week. So if you can put up with me at my worst here, then you're going to be in for a treat because I don't know. We've had some good times here. It's a really good community. So welcome on in, you and anybody else joining here. Let's see. Josh just got off the Peloton. he's hyped. He's hyped. You guys smash that like. I appreciate y'all very much. He'll hit you. It's not good cop, bad cop. It's like high energy cop, low energy cop. So he'll hit you with the high energy, and I'll just say, hey, I appreciate y'all very much. It'd mean a lot to me if you gave me a like. All right, that's all the pandering. Let's get back into it here. We still got some more to talk about, but always good to break it up just a little bit there. Where was I? Starting to feel like a human again, reading the chat, talking to other humans. Much better than just staring at candles all day. So we talked these three things, right? The institutional lack of teleportational abilities. They can't just exit or enter a position all at once. It would move the stock. It would not be in anybody's favor. You know, they're trying to accumulate. They got to do that on pullbacks. They got to do that when there's somebody selling. So there's that. There's the analyst revision lag. You're going to keep getting these updates that are going to boost the stock over the coming weeks after the big news. And then, yeah, the crowd, psychologically, it's going to take a while to chip away at their mental models, and that's going to give you opportunity to buy any small dips when they are trying to fade your trade because they are not letting go of their ideas yet, their convictions yet. Just like me with Micron this morning. Just like me thinking it was going to hold and go to new blue skies. Not today. Maybe tomorrow, but well, maybe not tomorrow. Tomorrow, the beautiful thing about tomorrow is that we can say with 100% certainty that we're not going to lose any money, unless you're a crypto trader, I guess. But then you got other problems. So let's get on into the next stock here, or next slide. Let's talk about how to trade the drift. Trade the drift at Trade the Pool. There you go. There's your bumper. Here's the process, and I built it basically with the to kind of rhyme with that part 2 checklist, so we can kind of use 2 in lockstep. You know, you can transition from one to the other, and you always have something quantifiable, something solid to sink your teeth into and really lock into. So the first is basically you got to confirm that the surprise is real. You got to make sure it's real. So the drift only works if the surprise is genuine, right? If it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we're dropping on X headline, and then you actually look at the headline, it's like, we've known this for 2 weeks. This isn't what's going on. This is just a kind of retrospective narrative that people are applying. So make sure it's genuine. Like, you want to see really definitive action, right? You want to see a stock blowing straight through its measured move, his expected move on earnings. So we talk about that a lot when we do the earnings calls. There's a really big cheat sheet that a lot of people don't use, and that is to look at the money straddle, and you do a little bit of mental math. Or now you guys have it so good. Back in my day, we had to calculate it by hand. You know, it was like, you know, walking uphill to school in the snow. It was uphill both directions. It was terrible. You know, you got it so easy nowadays. You can just type it right into your search bar. Just say, what's the expected move for whatever? It'll do the math for you. It's all free information, right? So there you go. Cheat sheet. You'll know exactly how much of a move you should be expecting. You know, it gives you an expectation. So this gives you the bar. And if you clear the bar, you're in a very bullish mode, and you can essentially look for this post-earnings gap drift up. You can look for that setup to continue. You can look to find spots in the foothold when everybody else is panicking because they're buying the second after it, you know, releases, and they get the move up, but then they also get washed out on that first wash out. So don't be exit liquidity. Get in when others are getting out. And this doesn't mean, by the way, that like the other traders who are selling are bad. It's like a lot. Anybody, there's always going to be some valid reason to buy at a certain level or sell at a certain level. Just about, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm scalping and I hit a certain ATR, for example, I'm taking my profit because mathematically that's what my system says and it makes sense. You know, if I run it 100 times, that'll make sense. At the same time, somebody else who's looking for one of these post-earnings gap setups or something, you know, like they're looking for that strong move that I just capitalized on and said, hey, there's probably going to be a pullback. They're looking for that to start a position. And, you know, maybe they're waiting on an hourly close or a daily close or even a weekly close, right? But still, like, they don't really care if it drifts back a few cents on them. You know, it's more about establishing a position in something that has just kind of hit a major milestone there. So, of course, if you're doing that high time frame trading, you can always hone in and get to a smaller time frame and refine that entry, and that's what I like to do. But it's fascinating seeing that sometimes institutions don't really do that necessarily. Like, they're going to be building in, but you'll often see, especially large options bets. So this could just be like very rich degenerates, but you'll often see far dated options contracts just kind of be bought. They just kind of wing it. They just go, hey, look at this big move. I bet this is going to be higher in a month. I'm going to buy a ton of 6-month out options, you know, calls that it's going way up out of the money. And sometimes they're down like 30%. So either they got a tough stomach or they're an institution and they're hedging on the other side or something. But it is interesting to see that often you can wait for the sign of strength and still just get your really defined entry. So I'm sorry, I got off track. Let's talk about this actual slide here. Let's talk about this, the rest of these. So we talked about the confirming the real move and through that expected move. Number 2, you basically you need to have a really clean guide and you need a reaction that holds. So strong numbers, strong forward outlook, and a stock that's actually holding its gap over the first day or two. So this is where it's really important, where a lot of traders are not patient and they get married to the stock, and then they get their initial move and they're just in euphoria. They're, it's the best thing ever. Now they're like, okay, it's all but a foregone conclusion that we're going to get this drift up now, because why wouldn't it? I've been right up to this point, right? And that's an easy trap to get into. So just important to remember that it's got to actually show you the money. It's got to actually hold. Otherwise, you can add after great numbers, and then turns out market doesn't care about the numbers that you thought were so great, and maybe you wouldn't think they were so great if you didn't get a big strong candle to go along with those lukewarm numbers. So that's number 2. Number 3 is never chase the gap. I say never. You almost never chase the gap. Almost never chase. Don't go chasing waterfalls in either direction. If you do, you got to really be good at what you're doing. You got to be honed, or well versed in trading momentum. You got to be very disciplined in exiting with the sellers. You're with the buyer, I should say, with the big bidder, the big buyer that you're kind of riding his coattails, and that can be very fast, and you have to be very willing to change on a dime. So just make sure that you qualify before you're doing this chasey stuff. Really don't recommend it overall. I don't like doing it, so take that for what you will. Maybe I'm just a noob, but not for me. I like back tests, and I like missing setups that leave without me, and just going on and finding the ones that do back test. So remember, did we even talk about 3? Yeah, never chase the gap. Wait for that first pullback into the level, whether it's the prior breakout, moving average, top of the gap, whatever it may be. You watch for a reaction. You don't just blindly enter there either. You watch for the buyers to step in, and sometimes it'll be one of those. Sometimes they'll need multiples. Yada yada. But make sure you're not just going in blind here, because this is where you can get really chopped up. Because big earnings moves, they sometimes fade. They sometimes just go right back down and fill the whole gap. Nobody likes that. So 4 is going to be trade the trend and not the fixed target. So this is the swing now. This is a swing now. So it's not going to be like a scalp, right? So you're just focusing on that actual trend. Trail your stop under the higher lows. Let the institutional accumulation carry you to the promised land. And you know what? The entire thesis is that it moves for weeks. So don't cap it, at lunch, on day 1, right? This is not a scalp. You basically want to just keep moving with the big money. And you know what? Eventually it'll get stopped out, but the idea is you're hoping that that's a week or two later at a much higher price. So I was hoping that I sniped the entry on my micron here and I could start doing this with it, and call this capitulation, kind of like a post-earnings move, essentially, because it's, again, a resetting of expectations. And there were other earnings which coincided with it popping so much. Primarily all the hyperscaler spending and LRCX have an amazing forward guidance and forward look on their backlogs, all that good stuff. So we'll see if this does end up being a higher low. I mean, technically, could go a lot lower and still be a higher low. It's got room, especially from the pre-market levels. But a little too early to say. I had to take the stop, and we'll try to reposition. Still in the core, but I'm a little nervous about it now. When it works, it'll be like this. You'll just raise your stops under each thing, and it's like a lot cleaner of a trend. So I probably should have waited for this dip. I should have probably just gotten out completely, played the first day capitulation knife catch that I just happened to time really well on Micron, take my money, run, and then wait for this first pullback to really look to get long. So still not seeing anything to show me that it's fully ready, but that's why it was such a focus for me today, and why I let it get me so hot and bothered there. What else we got? I think we are at number 5 here. Yeah, number 5 and the last one. So your exit's the structure break. It's not a clock, right? So you're out when the chart tells you, not when you get bored with it, not when it hits a certain upside target. I mean, you can trim there, but essentially the trade works until it stops working. And the entire thesis is kind of based on that. So let the chart tell you it's over. And yeah, let's get on to the next part here. I want to show you one place, the part 2 trade, where the part 2 that we talked about trade and this trade is actually going to coincide. They're going to kind of overlap and touch, because I think that's kind of the most useful decision in this whole series, and I think it's worth kind of harping on here. Okay, what do we got? This is the single slide where part 2 and part 3 are going to physically connect. In part 2, we talked the trading the gap and goes and banking the profit into the move. So that's still correct most of the time. And you take the day trade, you're done, you go to bed, right? That's the fold. Sometimes that exact gap is the first leg of that multi-week drift, and you're going to want to hold for a piece for the swing. So how do you decide that? Well, you hold when all 3 of these things are true. It was a genuine surprise that blew through the expected move. The guidance was strong and the call backed it up, and the trend is still intact. So it's holding its levels, higher lows, and on real volume. When you fold is when the move stayed inside that expected move. Often there's just not enough momentum to get it out of the range. It'll just kind of drift back in. That's the same kind of case for the next point, which is that the volume is fading. You want to see that strong, continuous volume, making you feel good about it. You can also just look for the reaction that's sloppy and won't hold a level. That's no good. If you see that, any 3 of those, you probably aren't going to be looking at this as an A+ setup or even a good setup to take it all. So basically, it just invalidates the thesis. And here's a move that a lot of pros do. So you don't have to choose all or nothing, right? Bank most of the position on the as the day trade and leave the little runner, right? And so I did that. Feels better than holding the full thing, that's for sure. Does it feel worse than just folding the whole thing? Yeah, probably. Probably should have just cut everything. But I believe, and if long term I'm right, I get to sell those same shares much higher. I have no worry about theta, nothing like that. If I'm wrong, hey, on to the next one. Is what it is. I will only be down a very, very small amount on the trade since I got a good exit or a good entry. And because I trimmed so high up, there's no way I actually lose. It just feels like a loss. So also important to note that when you're kind of tranching out like that, like an institution, like the big boys, you can give yourself a lot more grace. You can be a lot more wrong on your thesis and still make money, if that kind of makes sense. If you're not, kind of moving with the charts, right? Oh, it's working, I'll add in. Oh, it's not working, I'll take some away. If you're not doing that, you're really kind of being stubborn and it just doesn't make sense. And that's how the best traders do this. This is something that I got from Steve Cohen. He always talks about what his mentor taught him about how do you know how to manage a position. He said, it's really simple. Is it working for me? Great. I'll keep building into it if it's still working for me. I want to keep pushing my edge. As long as it's working for me and it's not overextended, then yes, let's do it. That's called pyramiding. It's the hardest thing to do in trading. One of the hardest things to do in trading. Add into winners and not letting yourself get ahead of the ball, just staying on course. And that's how the greatest traders do it. The other side of that is you have to be very diligent about cutting things in chunks, in tranches. You pull money out, whether it's a quarter, a third, an eighth, whatever it is, you got to be taking things off the table if they're not doing what you think. It's as simple as that. By doing this, your capital stays concentrated where it best represents your conviction. And it's a very logical, very fluid thing. And the nice thing is it's not 100% super granular to the point where it's or rigid, I should say, to the point where, you can still kind of make it work for you. But that's kind of how I would frame that. All right, guys. Sorry, let me catch up on comments here. No, it shouldn't be a chart up. I'm just talking about it. Just chatting. C time was, I love a small size short on the fail of the high on earnings. It's easy money, fast, $1 to $3 move in and out, but you have to be patient. Yeah, absolutely. So you wait for the crack. C time was, I'm interested. What's your exact trigger? Do you have one indicator or one thing? I mean, I know it's probably a confluence. You seem like you know what you're doing, so probably a confluence of things, but I'm just curious, looking for a soundbite. For me, my one thing that I really focus on for that is that the failure of the 9-minute moving average. I love to see that failure happen. I like to see a retest, a low or high. And then if I'm really a gunslinger, I'll take some there. But usually I'll wait for that kind of, to come back and break, put a close under that 9-minute and then back test. And that's where I like to get involved with a very, very tight stop. Because hey, if I'm wrong, this thing can keep on running. And that's the other side of the, earnings that I do play sometimes too. If I believe in the thing, it's a strong move over the expected, is strong move, and I think that it's still within the expected and has more to go, then I'll play the first back test on the 9-moving average. Because again, I can just manage my risk very small into that. All right. Sean asking, did I get a piece of the Microsoft and Amazon pie this week? Oh, man. Microsoft's been cooking me for weeks. Yeah, so yeah, I sold 1/3, a little more than 1/3 on the initial gap up, not like right on the, the next day, basically. So that felt good. Wish I held a little, but not really. I really don't even care that it went up higher. It cooked me for so long. I just took a lot off the table, got it down to a size that I respect, that doesn't stress me out at all. It was getting a little big for comfort because I just kept getting opportunities and I was stubborn, because I knew it was a mega cap and I knew all it would take is this earnings. And if not, well, hey, next earnings. Eventually it will recover, Very happy with Microsoft. No Amazon for me. My girlfriend holds, that's one of her largest holdings. So she's happy about that. Unfortunately, her other largest holding, Apple. So womp womp. But I'm telling her to start. I'm not financially advising her. I'm saying I would. I would start taking the profit, ringing the register on Apple. It's a long-term position. I just don't see a lot of reasons to hold it right here compared to a lot of the other mega caps. That being said, not a bad company, just decelerating growth, a little bit concerning there for the valuations. I just don't know if it's as appealing as it was a year ago. Well, definitely know it's not as appealing as it was a month ago. So yeah, good stuff there. Good stuff there. And let's get back in and wrap this up. We got 2 more slides. If I can find my notes. There they are. So slide 8, there we go. Okay, great. So this is the last big idea. If I can get my desk over my rug there. There you go. There's the last idea. So this is the clean way to trade into the print without ever touching this coin flip here. So it's going to be the sympathy here. And here's the basic concept. When you have the leader and they're reporting, it's not just going to move them, right? So we were talking about Microsoft. It's a great example here and a great time to highlight some of the other plays here that fit right now with the software as a service theme. So it re-rates that whole neighborhood, and the biggest, the biggest is going to move everything else with it on that read through because it really is, it's affecting the whole thing, the whole complex. So instead of gambling on just the leader's numbers, you can always position into a peer, into a related name in the same kind of group, but it's not one that's actually reporting that day. So then what you get is the same kind of juice or similar juice. It won't move as much on a good print, but it will definitely move. And if you're doing options as well, sorry, losing my place. One thing I want to mention, if you're doing options, you also get the benefit of, and now I'm getting an alert. Micron bouncing a little bit. Interesting. Sorry, very distractible here. The benefit here is that you don't get the IV boost like you would otherwise playing into the run up if you're buying the option and you want to go through. So that's the only time I would ever gamble on an option into an earnings is if you do a sympathy play like this and it's high conviction. So also I would need to see big flow as well. Other big buyer kind of hit their hand saying, hey, this is a gamble worth taking. But again, even then it's a gamble and sometimes institutions lose too. Moving on here. I'm getting so sidetracked. Here we go. instead of gambling on that leader, we're just going into the related name, and it's pretty convenient. It's a pretty elegant setup, because the peer has no earnings of its own, no Ivy Crush, no binary on its own books, but you do get the exposure to the theme, and it's a lot less of the volatility tax, which I would definitely caution away from, right? So that's another reason why it's just a little bit better to look for these sympathies if you are going to be doing these kind of gambly things. So yeah, just make sure that to the other side, a weak leader prints a bad number and it's going to drag their peers down too. So this still is going to be a directional read on the sector, and you got to size it for what it is. Definitely a smaller type move there. All right, let's bring it home, guys. I'm fading hard. I'm so hungry, you have no idea. So part 1 was the read of this 3 series that we're doing. Last week was the part 2, and that was the print. Today was kind of everything in between, everything around it. So the runway on both sides there. 3 things that you should leave with. Basically, you're going to be trading into that print because you're not going to be betting into the number. It's much more reliable. The trading the run up it gives you all of the access to all this, all the triggers, all of the indicators, all of the signs that you could normally look for. So you can get that confluence that you would find in a normal setup and don't have to be a gambler. We don't like gambling, usually. Stay flat before the bell. Never in the room when that coin flips, unless you're doing our playbook from last week. Second thing, the move doesn't end at the gap. On a genuine surprise here, the drift is going to run for weeks because the institutions need to fill in slowly. So it's not an all or nothing thing. It's not a all at once thing. You're gonna keep getting little pullbacks, just healthy pullbacks, maybe like we saw in chips today, hopefully. Then you'll get more analyst upgrades, and then it'll pop, and then the crowd's gonna underreact. They're gonna try to short it again, stuff like that. So essentially you'll get opportunities. Don't rush it. Build into the positions as they present themselves, and just make sure that the overall trend is holding. You trail under that trend. And third is the two trades meet at one decision, right? So when a part 2 gap and go setup is real, when it has that real surprise with strong guide and an intact trend, you can hold the runner and just let it cook. So when it's choppy, just bank it and leave, So if you want in on that print without the coin flip at all, trade that neighborhood with the sympathy play as well. That's what I'm going to leave you with here. If you want some homework, if you're really good students, you want that gold star on the chart, pick one name that you already reported, like a genuine blowout here. I mentioned, what was it? I think it was Intel recently. Oh, geez, I can't think of a single other one right now. Somebody will yell some of them in the comments. Amazon. How about Amazon? There you go. Perfect example. Yesterday. Microsoft, another one. Boom. So yeah, if it's real, it'll keep on going. I forgot what I said. Oh yeah, your homework. So find other ones like that. I just I just gave you a good answer. Shoot, you were supposed to find those. Go find me some more. There you go. That's your homework. And basically what you can do is also use those two that I just talked about, Microsoft and Amazon, as a kind of template, or the Intel prior, and just see how they compare. See if, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's some differences, but I think they're good examples, and I think you'll find some similarities there. And you can use those to start building a kind of lookbook there. Okay, so, woof, we did it. Now I can stop having to use my brain. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm going to go back through the chat. I'm sure I missed some stuff. Anybody wants to, we can talk questions, charts, stuff like that for the last 10 minutes here. How's that sound, guys? Link to this document. Yeah, I can post it. Absolutely. I will need a few minutes to do so after we're done, because it is currently hosted locally. So I'll need to save it as a PDF, do all that, but I can get on that shortly. Yeah, and as a regular thing, I'm going to talk to some of the guys in the Discord, and what we're going to do is we're going to start posting them there regularly, I think, assuming I get the go-ahead, which should be fine. And essentially then you'll have one kind of repository for all this stuff. Oh, you know where you can find this? Let me double check. I think it's up and running again. I lied to you. I'm sorry. In the future, it will be up on our earnings hub. We are still fine tuning a few things on there, but for now, I will post it on the Discord. And yeah, let's see what else. What else we got? How you doing, guys? By the way, we made it through the week, right? This one was a doozy. I'm still getting alerts in my trading view. What's SPY doing? It's apparently crossing some level that I deem noteworthy. It's dumping a little bit. Interesting. Not anything major. But we are seeing just a little bit of de-risking, continued de-risking into the bell. We'll keep an eye on it. Hey, Gunnar, what's up, dude? How you doing? Had to start a position in CoreWeave. Let's start looking at some charts here for just a few minutes. Delante's green on the week. Love to hear it. I'm green on the week, and I feel like I lost. That's the kind of week I'm having. Make it make sense. I don't know. I think it's really just like losing. Is it even losing money? I didn't sell. I didn't sell. They're long-term shares. I don't think I lost money. Feels like it though. DJ, you're staying away from earnings this year? Yeah, I don't blame you. Just gonna stick with with what I taught you. Oh no, yeah. Well, that's the thing, dude. It's really kind of just, for me, it was like a come to Jesus moment. It was like, I got so much. It's so much, so fast. Always pay attention to this and that and this and that, and always chase. Look for this special event. Be a momentum news trader. You know, why not just let the market come to me? There's other very reliable things that happen on the other side of momentum trades: the unwind, the mean reversion trade, the drift up after really good news. All of these things are so much more reliable than then I mean, you know, you can do that too, but it's just less stressful. So for me, just I want something that I can take to an index and just run it every single day. And you know what? 60% of the time it works every time, and I'm making more on the wins than the losses, and that's good enough for me. I think I'm being a little humble. I think it's probably more like 65% of the time, but still, I'm not winning every trade, and that's okay. The wins are bigger than the losses, and that is how I define my success. You know what I'm saying? And that's I don't need to gamble. I do like to gamble though, guys. I like to gamble a lot, but I make sure to keep it very, very small because I like to gamble so much. All right, now I'll stop yapping. Let's talk core weave here. Core weave. Yeah, green is green, right, Delonte? I'm with you there. All right, let's see. This is the path I drew a couple days ago. I would expect it to kind of come down here. We had this level marked out. Prior IPO's high. It does seem like it respected that, so that's a sign of encouragement. Maybe this path's a little off. Do I like it? No. Looks like a piece of crap. Looks like a piece of trash. Counterpoint. A counter question for you. Do you like this chart? Would you long this chart? Ignore the big text in the middle of the screen that gives away the bid. Is this something that you would buy? I think that's something I would consider buying. Looks very strong to me. Looks like it tried to break out. Now is back testing the breakout. It is a decent sized pullback on the week candle here. So we'd have to see the follow-up week candle. Maybe it needs to undercut flush and find buyers again at this level. The 0.0124, obviously it doesn't mean anything because we're on a 1 divided by core weave chart. What I'm showing you guys here is an inverse of the core weave chart. So for me personally, I think this is a little bit sus, a little bit sketchy, as something that I think this wants to go up, which means I think core weave wants to go down. What you could do is run it as a pair trade. What I will also say, it could be a bottom. Maybe we redraw this zone to be a little more forgiving. There, looks a little better. Could be a bottom. This would be a failed breakdown, a failed auction down, and that would mean that these core weave plays would need to really rip. How did the other rest of the basket do today? Okay, they got hammered and recovered beautifully. That's fascinating. Wait, this is a weekly candle. Yeah, they're fine. They look good. Looks good. I think these are making bottoms. This one's working nicely. It did the undercut. It's such a scary candle. And then gap up overnight. That's because of the Leopold getting blown out of all of his NBIS, I think. Yeah. Wow, NBIS got killed. I should buy some of this long term, I think. All right, that's another focus. I'm adding it to the watch list. I think it's time to buy some NBIS. Gunners and some APLD. Nice, nice. Yeah, it's a fun name. Nebius, so much. Nebius. Yeah, Nebius so much stronger than core weave. Absolutely. So what you could do, that's what I was going to say. You could do a pair trade. Why not long this one? Like buy the dip every time you like this one, and every time you get to a place where you're like, I should hedge. It's looking like a local top. Well, then you can short. You can pick up some inverse shares of what's the worst? Core weave? Yeah, there's definitely an inverse core weave, right? Is there? Yes. No? No. This is another thing you can do. You can go on TradingView and search the ticker and then go ETF. and see all the things that you can buy. All of the mistakes you can make. Don't actually buy it. Whoa, almost knocked my water over. Whew. Spidey reflexes there. Don't buy these. Don't buy these unless you really have a good read directionally and you really need the juice. I think it's so much safer to just buy shares. These 2X's rebalance every day, and it's much better than their 3X, but it'll still chop you the hell up. So yeah, here we have a ton of long doubles. I wanted an inverse. I don't want a 2X though. You could tactically hedge with this CORD, which is inverse 2X core weave. This is probably having a wild chart. In 2 days, this has gone from $12 to $5. That's insane. What? How big of a move did CoreWeave have? How dyslexic am I? Holy moly, I didn't realize this thing got beat so bad. Wild. 25% off the rip there, off the bottom, after a 40%, 30%, 28% washout there in 5 days. That's brutal. Oof. All right, let me catch up on some of these comments. Got a lot coming in. Awesome. See, Time Wiz, awesome. Oh, I think I missed one of yours from earlier. Yeah, okay, awesome. You're a self-taught trader. Some lingo might not be the best, but I wait for the second attempt of the high to fail and create a hammer doji to the downside to start sizing into the short 50 shares. Beautiful. Awesome. Yeah, I love that. So actually, yeah, you can pretend these are 1 minute candles and this is the earnings result. It comes down and then you can look for this high or low. Maybe this is the move. It comes up, trade sideways, and then puts a higher low. And this is a bad example. Never mind. I know what you're saying though. That's the second higher, lower high, the lower high. So it doesn't break the prior one and then starts to roll over. You know that probably, here's the one thing to add to your system. Look for the expected move and make sure that you're doing this inside the expected move. Because if it's a big enough move that it breaks on through, you really aren't going to get much follow through the downside very likely. You know, it's much more likely that it'll just kind of hang out up there or even push higher and just cook you. That's what I'd recommend there. But good stuff there. I love any kind of quantified strategy like that. And you can just build a playbook. And then you can literally, I've got an idea kicking around of like a way to kind of, it's like a trading journal and a lookbook together. So you can take pictures of your trades. It'll use AI to like sort them into different, set type setups. Then you can build like almost like a John Madden, like a football playbook of like all of these types of plays, So then you got your toolbox. I'm thinking about something like that. I think it would be helpful to visualize all of these strategies. What else we got? Yeah, there's Trade the Pool's Discord server, by the way. Thank you, Joe, on the backside there, helping out. Yeah, what else we got? Talking some QCOM in the chat. Getting hammered. Oof. Yeah, I thought I would get some places to short that were better. It just kind of didn't really give any really good spots. I guess here was good. I missed it. Didn't notice it. That would have also been nice. Giving you some nice entries if you pay attention. That's another thing. I need to hook up some AI bots to all my charts and just have them tell me when I don't know, miss too many things. What else we got? What do we think of DRS versus KTOS? I know Kratos. I don't know what DRS is. Look at it. Oh, Leonardo. These are cool. This guy's cool. What are they? They do cool stuff. I forget exactly what they do, but it's cool. That chart looks wild. So this looks like it wants to squeeze, doesn't it? This is a very nice squeeze setup here. And by that, I'll just draw out little outlines to show you what I mean by that. So do you see how it's getting incredibly constricted? And like it keeps like building up a lot of kinetic energy in here. And we're not sure which way it's going to break, but usually when this happens, they start eating upwards and they do like a little parabola. Sorry, it's such an inside joke. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. I have a friend who got drunk and couldn't say the word parabola. And now I can't say the word without thinking of him. Shout out, Nick. Anyways, what was I talking about? I was going to show you something. This squeeze is basically a really tight pattern coming in, coming in, coming in. So price comes up, stops people out there, stops people out to the downside, stops people out to the upside, and it's just whipping back and forth. And there's big volume. That's another thing you can look for a directional break. This looks to be a buy for me because it's got this big buy that's pushing us, this big buy. The red days that are big, they're not high volume. They're really not anything to write home about. So the selling that's occurring, it's not like that big of a deal. You have a little bit of a big sell there, but not really. You get a bigger buy right after that. Then you see that follow through, even though it takes a few days. For me, this is very nice, very constructive. And I'll have to do a little more research on the fundamentals, but it looks beautiful. Doesn't this look like something you just buy and just you're very happy in like a few years when it's like way the heck up here? And then it might actually do that in a month. We never know. So Kratos is a very cool company. I don't know if these things are worth touching for a while. I know I was talking ONDS today, so maybe it is. Oh man, maybe it's time. This is going to be like dumpster diving, though. These things have a lot of work to do. They got to prove themselves. Falling wedge. And these just cook you, you know. These can get like, how are you going to feel if like this thing just is trading at 41 in like 3 weeks and still hasn't violated this kind of shitty pattern? I don't love these. I need to wait for them to get tight, pop, and then back test. So, right there. That's the only place I'm interested in it. Show me that you can break back into this big chunky volume shelf, then back test, wick out under that volume shelf, and then show me that you want to get back in it. Or you can maybe bounce off it and not dip into it, something like that. So that's what I'm thinking on Kratos. I don't love this one. DRS looks very cool though. I'm going to look at that one more time and I'm going to add it to my focus list. Apparently I do have it on my watch list. Apparently it found its way into the miners. Oh, this got changed. These are all drones and space aerotech plays. Look at some of the other ones. Mercy called this one at 75. How's it doing? Cooking. We liked HMY. That's a gold miner, though. Yeah, we took that trade already. I am starting to look at these gold miners, though, so actually not a bad place to find myself. Look at this tight barcoding for multiple days. This is one you can buy shares and be very happy if we get a nice move in gold. So I won't say for sure, but in my book, this is a big old cup and handle, breaking through major ranges, now coming back, and this just needs silver and gold to really cook. Silver, oh man, look at that. Silver is so close. Does it need one more flush to get back to the all-time highs prior? It's 48, or are we close enough? That's something I'll be watching for sure. All right, sorry, I'm working back through comments here. I'm 8 minutes away, guys. I'll try to catch up. Is there a way we can join my Discord? Yes, sir. There sure is. Absolutely. There sure is. Let me get you a link. So I have a free Discord. It is quite robust. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of the people who spend their time there, spend their days there as their primary trading server. That's a big thing for me, trying to make it a place where the people who really know their stuff feel welcome and comfortable and like they want to share. So yes, anybody can join. Just play nice. You know, we have a good culture here, and I ain't about messing it up. But I'm very lenient. I haven't had to kick anybody from Trade the Pool, so that's super cool. That makes me really happy. I'm rambling while I actually get the link here ready to go. So yeah, all free for the most part. If you guys really do want to throw anything my way, I do also do a newsletter that I think it's really good information and a very, it's nicely packaged, yada, yada, yada. It also updates on what I've been doing in my portfolio as well. I also include trade signals in that. It's not a ton of trade signals because they're mostly for swing trades. Sometimes there will be intraday stuff. Mostly, though, I like to keep all that stuff free for anybody who just wants to come on in and learn. That's all I ask. Just come on in and be a student of the game, so to speak. We have some really great traders in there. DJ2AM saying legit Discord. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. That's one of my biggest accomplishments of the past year. That it's not an echo chamber of just people listening to me, because that would be terrifying. That would be a nightmare, because I'm not worth listening to that much. You know, listen to me as one of your sources, not your only source. You know, that's what I always tell people. Thank you, Adrian. I appreciate that. There's some strong personalities, to be fair, you know, but every group has to have a few nutsos, and I'm probably the biggest one. So we appreciate you being in there. You can't find the newsletter on Discord. Correct. That is it's a paid part. That's a paid part. It's a I will grandfather in anybody who messages me at my old rates of 20 a month. I did change it this week to 30, but since I'm talking about it here, anybody who wants it now, they can get grandfathered in for 20 a month. You get a newsletter every week. Sometimes some other articles in intra-week. It unlocks other rooms in the server as well. So I am there's an unusual flow one in there that we post in sometimes. There is there's a good amount of other stuff behind the scenes that I can't talk about quite yet. But yeah, if you want your foot in the door, you can do that. That's the only paid thing I will say. Also launching the Gamma Exposure tool pretty quickly. I will show you that real quick as well, guys. So this is Gamma Tide. Copyrighted. Don't get any smart ideas. Gamma Tide. So essentially what it is it's going to be a dashboard. It's still getting fine-tuned, but it is an open beta. So I'll tell you how to find this in just a second. But what this shows you is you got a live chart here. Next update will be these levels, these gamma exposure levels displayed in different ways on the right side, overlaid right on the charts in terms of you'll see them go on live. There'll be a big thick level. You'll see price go up to them. You'll see them start to get monetized and shrink. That level will fade. It's going to be really cool, guys, as soon as I have time to actually fine tune my code, because I keep breaking it. But I'm very, very excited about this. My whole goal here is to go head to toe with all of these premium services that are charging $100 plus a month. Some are charging $300 a month. 50 a month. Let's not get crazy here. You can make money very consistently, because what this gives you is a little bit of a cheat sheet on intraday price action. What gamma exposure is basically, it's a rule book. It's every day that basically the market, the institutional speculators, the big money who's making buys and sells and calls and puts in 0 days, they are forming a rule book for the day. This rule book dictates what market makers, have to do. They have to hedge the large bets that these guys make intraday. It's just the rules. It's just how it works. So obviously nothing's 100%, but it increases your odds very much so to have these kind of tailwinds, these wins in your sails, so to speak, to know, for example, where the price is gravitated towards. For example, here's SPX. We have a 15-minute chart here. And we can see over this time period, the gamma exposure is higher. We also see this is a big level of interest, these two nodes here. See this orange here, 74.25 as well as 7,400. So as you look, you can look back on the chart and just see big pivot in that zone. When we made a big spike, we had to come back in, check with that level. We found it. Then we made a higher low off this level. So at the same time, what are we drawn to? Well, as this was happening, gamma was growing up top, showing where the pull is. And then we magnet up here. It's like magic, right? So this works both on higher time frames, but it works best intraday. And that's where this part comes into play. So this intraday tab is really nice because it gives you the same stuff, but it gives you SPX, SPY, and QQQ. So it shows you all three to give you more confluence. Whoa, got an alert there. Silence. Sometimes I have one scary alert for when I really need to pay attention, because I get so many alerts that sometimes I'll phase them out. Anyways, that is SPY dropping a little more after hours, by the way. Nothing to worry about. Just back to VWAP probably, but just worth noting. Pretty volatile still. Pretty volatile stuff still. So getting back to the intraday tab here, really cool stuff, because what you see by these three is that, hey, where was the concentration of gamma to the downside? These orange levels? Well, they ended up being basically where we double bottomed off. And then where did we run it up to? Well, the high volume node up to the top side here. Obviously a little bit in retrospective, as this is the kind of final picture, but still you can see these levels start to flip in real time, and it's very, very cool. The other cool thing is that this changes by percentage on any kind of increment that you want. So this is set to 15 minutes. So for example, in the last 15 minutes, this Big node up here, it got monetized 73%. It dropped 73%. What happened there? We got this big red candle. That was right into the close. That was what happened in the last 15 minutes. So you can just see right there the snappy kind of reaction you get there. And it's really, really neat. Sorry, got another alert there after hours on my BE. Oh no, my BE is getting beat up. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Seems like, yeah, all of the semiconductor AI trades are still getting beat on after hours here, and that is a little bit spooky. Sorry, keep trying to get rid of all these alerts, and there's always one more. There we go. All right, wrapping this up here. Cool intraday tool here. We also have sector heat maps. That's always useful. You can also click on into these. Oh, whoops. You can go to our swing tab, and then you can click on into these. Sorry, I gotta manually stop out of something here. If I can't watch it and it's dropping after hours, I gotta be good. Please hold. Always fun trying to navigate a new broker while something's happening. You're talking on camera. Thanks for your patience, folks. We're almost there. You know what? All right, we're fine. It's fine. That should do it. There we go. All right, we're filled. We're safe. Back to the fun stuff. So on a swing tab here. Oh, did I break it? All right, I broke it on the last update. But in general, you'll be able to click on these sectors and see the actual charts right in here as well, and all the information. So this is not just for SPY and everything else. Let's go to Micron here. And you can see, look at that 800 node dominating. Well, what happened, guys? So we are still magnetized to. We tried to pop up and away from it today. Said, nope, back down to the key point here. See how this stuff is really, really useful? Very cool stuff. And we are also still noting the concentration of heavy downside nodes into September, October, November. Spooky stuff there. Interesting stuff. All right, last things I want to show you on this before I head out. Well, first off, how to get it. So you go to whopwap.com/, I'll give you the link. I'll drop it. And then you'll get free access. You'll have to sign up for WAP. So it'll just ask for your email. That's all I'm asking for, just so you can get an update when it's finally released, and you get the option to get grandfathered into a better deal if you're interested in that. Where the hex key is it? There's the link. Thank you, Nigel. I appreciate it. This has been in the works for a very long time, for almost a year, but finally had time to actually start putting it all together. Oh, the coolest thing, I didn't even show you guys. One of the coolest things is that there's an automated trade plan for you every single day. I think this is where I bring a lot of value that others don't, because I've codified a lot of my systems into like the most, like, basically 3 most reliable setups that I see every day. And then they all have very specific rules. And if they're valid, then basically every day they're generated based on the setup, all the information. And then you can wait to get the exact, basically there's a perfect target, a trigger, and when invalidation level too. So this allows really high probability setups. This is, I think, the antidote to people who are maybe having trouble. They want to trade intraday, they see the potential, but they can't stop, getting their hand caught in the cookie jar. They can't stop taking too many trades and chopping themselves out and not waiting for the high probability setups. Because almost every trader who trades 0 DTEs, especially when they're starting, they trade too much. That's what I noticed. They're like, I can just make 10% here. I can just make 100% here. I can make 20% here. Yeah, you can also lose that much just as fast if it's not a high probability setup. So with these tools, you're able to basically target level to level moves like this downside for 74.25 node up to the 75.35 node. So that is my little elevator pitch on this really nifty tool that I'm building. There's going to be a lot more features built in, the latest ones. We got a little ticker tape at the top for news. We've got an econ calendar as well. I got to fix the color of that. And, I forgot about this one. We built in alerts now. We got alerts going when they break key levels. So a whole lot of cool stuff underway here at Gamatide. So thank you for letting me pitch my stuff real quick. But at the end of the day, I really do just do this for the love of the game. I'm not really making enough to justify the amount of time I'm spending on all this other stuff. It's just for the community because I love seeing my boys win. What's up, Hamid? How you doing? Howdy, cowboy. What's up, cowpoke? How you doing? Sauntering in here. You have a nice day down at the canteen? I don't know. I'm losing it. What an old Western? I don't know. Okay. I think that's as good a place as any to call it here. So yeah. That's how you can reach me, guys. The Discord link just a little bit above. If anybody missed that, I'll drop that one more time. That's really where I spend every waking moment that I'm not on stream, I'll be honest. So if you ever want to pick my brain, if you ever want to find me, come to my dojo. I'll give you one more link there. Thanks for letting me ramble, y'all. Always good to see you. Almost dropped the water on my lap again. That's my signal. That's my time. Have a great day, guys. This was part 3 of our earnings playbook. Where the heck is it? Remember, don't gamble. You got a lot of templates here, whether it's the intraday stuff I'm talking about or back on track, back on our topic here. Individual playbooks for each part of the earnings cycle. You know, you got everything you need. And thanks for bearing with me, guys. I was so fried when this started. I'm even more fried now, but you guys made it fun. I hope it was worth your time as well. Thanks for the new guys in here. See, Time Wiz, I know I've seen you before, but good to see you back in here. Think you're all that. Good to see you, my friend. I think you're new, so welcome on in. You're part of the family. All right, guys, I'm getting the heck out of here, but it's always great to see you, Nigel. See you, Benetta. See you, Hamid. Even if girl's not here, you're still showing up for me. That means a lot. I know she's your favorite, but Adrian, you're one of my favorites. You're all my favorites, but I appreciate all y'all that spend so much time in here with me. Means a lot. Makes the days go by faster. Jay and a bunch of numbers. Jay Shy. I'm going to call you Jay Shy. Jay Chicago. Welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. Gunnar, everybody else in here. Hope you guys have a great day. Go relax this Friday because you know I sure am going to be. But if you still can't get enough, if you're a sicko, if you're a sick freak and you want more, you can't get enough, come on in. Tonight we're going to be doing Friday Night Live at Trade the Pool. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to have a few beverages in me. If you want to see Tipsy Steve, come on in. Saunter on into the saloon there, Hamid. Hope to see you as well as everybody else. It's going to be fun. We're going to be going over what the hell we just saw this week. What even is that? I don't even know. It's been a while. There's a lot to digest. I still need to process. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to be a lizard. I'm going to lie on my porch out there in the sun. It looks like a beautiful day. I recommend y'all do something similar. There's going to be some cannabis involved too. I think that's what I need after this week. So everybody have a great day. Really good to see you guys. Joe, as always, thanks on the backside, keeping it all together. You're the glue. Friday Night Live, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Don't forget. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one and be safe out there. Later.